Why?
Because it was like, I told you, when I got out of jail, I was supposed to have a job selling siding and doors and saddles and electrical equipment, an indoor salesman in Jersey. And when I got out of prison, I go, I'm out. Can I come take the job now? And he goes, I can't. We're going out of business. And I go, what happened? He goes, Trump built something. He was going to these little hardware stores like ours, told us to go fuck ourselves. We're done. I knew this in '88.
What do you mean?
At that time, supposedly, he would build something. It's like you coming to somebody, a little restaurant, and going, I want to build my own fucking steak. And, he would go to people and say, I'm going to build this and then use your lumber or whatever the fuck. Mm-hmm. And since there's so much with contractors, there's subcontractors and subcontractors, they would stiff their bills. They weren't paying their bills.
Really?
Yeah, this went on a lot. You can look it up. This isn't something, and that's all I remember from Trump. I met him in '85, and that was my only thing with Trump. If you're from New York, you know who he is. You've been hearing the name growing up.
I remember hearing about this from you, actually, now. You were telling me that there was, with contractors, stiff small contractors.
Small contractors, and then we'll go downhill. We'll run downhill. So now I gave you all the doors I had for your project. Trump just wasn't building one house with one window. I'm giving you everything on the arm. Yeah, you gave me a deposit. Maybe sometimes not. Maybe I'm so excited to do business with Trump. I got such a small place that I forget everything. Whatever the fuck happens. You know? So that's what happened in '88. I don't know the whole story, but he mentioned Trump. That's all I remember from that fucking guy.
I would also imagine if you're doing some big projects like that, there's probably a lot of people involved.
A lot of people.
Making decisions.
A building?
Yeah.
A building? He's the GC. He takes bids for everything else, right? That's how it usually works.
Is that what Trump does as a real estate developer?
I don't know how it goes down, but there's a GC, a general contractor, and then there's windows, wiring, all the different departments.
Uh-huh.
You don't know what everybody's doing.
Right.
You got 20 people in your fucking building.
Right.
When you built the comedy club, how many people were fucking there every day?
Yeah, a lot.
You don't know.
Right.
You don't know. You're not a contractor, so you don't know if they're doing the wall right. You just trust, whatever. So this is all I remember. That was it.
Yeah. Well, the whole construction business was always shady, and it was always tied up with the mob. Like, I knew a couple guys who had no show up jobs, like at the Javits Center.
Yeah.
You just get paid.
Concrete.
Yep.
They own concrete.
That was the thing. The mob would make deals whenever any sort of job was getting done. Did have a certain amount of no-show jobs for their guys.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. That's part. And then you get insurance. Mm-hmm. And that's when you arrest those guys and you go, what do you do for a living? I'm in the carpenter's unit.
Yeah.
Carpenter's unit. You don't even know what an inch is. You don't even know how to measure 6 inches, you fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a scam. But it was how they avoided taxes, too, right? Because taxes was what brought a lot of them down. That's what brought Al Capone down. Tax evasion.
Tax evasion.
Yeah.
But the other guys were pretty smart. They had the millionaire club, the bid club. They would only do $2 million bids or something. They would take $2 million right off the top, the mob, on every job. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? Every job in New York, it's well known that when the little guy from Arizona who was over there with Gotti, he controlled construction. Like, that was his fucking thing, you know? You couldn't get anything built without that fucking dude.
Can you imagine if you live in New York City at that time and you're trying to build buildings and you got to do deals with the mob and you got to do deals with Sammy the Bull?
Well, here's the deal. Like, I remember in 90, I was roofing, and the company was from Jersey, and my brother-in-law's, and I asked him, why'd you pick up this job? And he was telling me it's just so difficult. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, take the dumpster. That dumpster that they pick up every day and take off and they bring another one, in Colorado at the time was $200. That same dumpster in New York was $2,000 a day. That's how inflated the prices were. $1,800 difference. It's fucking crazy. That's what the cost of doing fucking construction, in New York.
Wow. Well, it was always a corrupt town. Like, that's why it took the UFC forever to get into New York. It was,
Got to pay the right. Look at these people waiting for licenses.
yeah.
I know people in Jersey waiting for a license since I landed. I got a license. Mm-hmm. You got to grease 80 fucking people. 80 people. You got to know people, pay. I know companies that are still waiting for a license from L.A. They just thought they were going to come and apply in New Jersey or in New York City. Look at New York City. They had a thing. They were giving licenses only to people who had felonies. Did you remember that? In New York, they wanted the ideal medical marijuana owner is an ex-convict who went to prison or got in trouble for marijuana. This is his second chance. Check it out. It's fucking insane. Can't get a license in New Jersey.
That is kind of crazy, but they should do something for those poor fucks that went to jail for weed. Nobody should ever went to jail for weed.
No.
It's ridiculous.
No.
It's a ridiculous thing to put people in jail for.
Well, look
You
at
put people in a cage for that, especially while everything else is okay. Doesn't make any sense.
Look what you're finding out now. Look at this guy today. I got in the Uber fresh out of smoking a fucking joint of this shit this morning. Thank God the guy was Cuban. When they send you the Uber name, the guy's name was Antonio. I go, he's Cuban. Got in the car. I was in the car 2 minutes. He goes, oye, lo que está fumando, coño. He goes, what is that shit? And I just gave him the canister. I go, smell this. He's like, wow. And this is a guy that's been in this country for 10 years. And he said to me, I don't know what the fuss is about this. This is a magical herb.
Yeah.
People don't realize when you smoke this, pains go away. You start thinking clearer. He goes, it takes time. And there's a fucking Uber driver telling me this shit.
Yeah.
And I asked him, how do you know about this stuff? He goes, in Cuba, we were growing weed.
Really?
But it was outdoor weed. You wasn't that strong, and sometimes they bring it from Jamaica. That's what he was saying. We were getting Cuba weed from Jamaica because,